All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm here today with another actor to interview, somebody who's taken the time to spend some time with me today. I really appreciate it. And Mr. Harvey Fierstein is here with me today. And well, this is one guy that if you're involved in the theater, you definitely have heard this guy's name. He's an actor who, let's say, doesn't mind taking a lot of risks, going out on a limb. That's kind of putting it mildly, I guess. Torch Song Trilogy, one of his main works. He's known for that, very well known for that. But he's done so many other kinds of productions as well in New York's off-Broadway. He's really involved in many ways in the theater circuit. So why don't we just go ahead and get straight to the questions, Harvey, if you don't mind. I guess a lot of people wonder, why do you like playing women's roles?
Have you seen men's roles? They are so boring. All of the men's roles in the 50s and 60s are, I want to get laid, I want to shoot up, I wanted this, I wanted that. The women get the poor pearl roles, and the nicer clothes and the softer moments. Women's roles are always more interesting because there's more to play with. A lot of them are underwritten, so you have to bring your own strength to them, while men's roles are so overwritten that if you want to bring softness to them, you can't. I'd like to play Eleanor in The Lion in Winter. She has lines like, I made poor Lewis take me on crusade. I dressed my maidens like Amazons and rode bare-breasted halfway to Damascus. Lewis had a seizure and I damn near died of windburn, but the troops were dazzled. Men don't get lines like that.
All right, well, let's talk about the work. I mean, as far as, actors, the way it is, you work sometimes you don't work, it ebbs and it flows. Is it easy for you to step back into the play after a hiatus?
The hardest thing is the third act. Those raw fight scenes, the whole point of which is to let yourself get to the point where you don't know what you're saying, and you say things you don't mean. It's hard because I know that I'm coming to a dark, dark place in my personality, and I've got to show it. I take 8 to 10 aspirin a performance of Torch Song. It's physically painful for me to do it. You don't come through to the other side. The audience does, but the character doesn't. And by the time he gets everything gathered together, the lights are coming down and you have to smile because it's your curtain call. Nothing in this world do I hate more than having an actor waltz out for his bows with tears running down his face to show the audience how hard he's worked.
All right. So what do you think about curtain calls? Do you find them therapeutic?
I don't even remember them. I don't remember anything for a couple of hours after the show, especially in that role. When we first did the trilogy off-Broadway, I used to take the subway home to Brooklyn. We'd all get on the subway together, Matthew Broderick with his bicycle and the producer Larry Lane. I would get home at 1:30 in the morning, put on the David Letterman show or whatever, and I'd cry for 3 or 4 hours because there was no place at the end of that play to dump all that pain and emotion. It's what leaves that lump in the audience's throat when done right, but it can make you very miserable. In the early days, if I'd gone out to eat afterwards, I would have been fine, but we didn't have any money to buy food. I had to borrow money for the subway. The end of the run was an entirely different thing. By then, I was playing a split week, Monday, Tuesday, twice on Wednesday, 4 performances a week, and that was a lot easier.
Harvey, you've been around both English and American actors. What would you say is the biggest difference between the two?
American actors go too far with this intense playing of subtext and never reading the script. Like the actor who says, my character wouldn't say that. I say, that's fine, but we don't want your character. We want the character in the play. And the guy says it. So either you got something wrong or you're the wrong actor for the role, because that's exactly what your character says. In England, all they care about is the written word, and they play it to death. It's embarrassing when you've written a bad line because they say it so nice and clearly. You hear every word.
You know, I've interviewed Griffin Dunn and some other actors that they combine writing and acting. It's kind of a dangerous thing to do in a world, that likes to pigeonhole people. And now most of the actors I know who do that, in fact, all the actors I know who do that, they do it for acting. They're writing scripts for themselves, they're using the writing to get them work. It's a vehicle for their acting, basically. Now, with the success of Torch Song, What happened with that? I mean, as far as your identity is concerned. I mean, did that change your identity from an actor to a writer?
Not in my mind. If someone said to me, you can't write anymore, I couldn't care less. If they said you can't act anymore, I'd have to find some way to get that energy out. That walking the tightrope, which is what acting really is. You got witnesses. Somebody's going to know what you did, and that's very dangerous. It's not like writing, where you can always use the whiteout or say that I mistyped that. Writing is for yourself. Acting is not.
What would you say is the hardest thing for you to do as an actor?
Walk out on the stage. After that, it's a lot easier. It's like stepping out on a tightrope between two buildings. The first step is always the hardest. I shake like a leaf. I stand back there and curse and cross myself. The hardest thing in an actor's life is a long run. What do you do once all your friends have seen the show? All the critics have come and gone, and you're tired of having dinner every night with the cast. You're back to your routine of coming to work and going home.
Oh, yeah. That you do a long run like that, you get the play. It becomes really a kind of home for you. The cast becomes your family, and once that's over, it's like, yeah, what am I supposed to do now? All right, so what's the silliest thing for you about being an actor?
That has more to do with celebrity than being an actor. In the days when you were starving to death, most restaurants wouldn't let you in dressed like I am today, in jeans and a t-shirt. Now they buy me dinner. That's the stupidest part of the world we live in. In film, the silliest thing is trying to stay sane while you're waiting to do your 2 minutes of work a day. I learned how to sleep in a honey wagon.
All right, now wait a minute. That's a word that might not be too familiar with some people out there. Honey wagon. What exactly is that?
Well, sometimes you get a regular Winnebago, which is hard enough to sleep in. But a honey wagon is a Winnebago which is broken into 4 or 6 rooms down the hall. The door has your name on it. You go in. There's a cot, a toilet bowl, and a sink. That's it. You have to learn to go in, lie down, and go right to sleep.
All right, we're just about out of time. But one more question. What would you say is the best thing about acting for you?
Rehearsal. Yeah, rehearsal. It's the greatest thing because you're really working. You're trying to find things. You're discussing the text. It's like an archaeological dig or like theoretical mathematicians discovering something together. Then you get back to opening night, and it's not for you anymore.
All right, Mr. Fierstein, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming by. I hope everybody found that enlightening. For now, that is all we have for you, but stay tuned for next show. Harvey Fierstein, you have a great day. Thank you for being on my program.
That's no problem, DJ. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right, everybody, have a great day. See you next time.